This week I tried making edible glitter with natural colors and no gelatin. Stick around to see how we made them, how they turned out, how they worked out after sitting on icing for 24 hours, and which one I'm really excited to keep using in the future. So for the first method, we need a stovetop and a pot. We're going to use some cool to room temperature water, some tapioca starch, and natural color. We want a half cup of water to 1 tablespoon of starch. I'm going to do a triple batch here just to make extra glitter and try out a couple of colors. So we're using 3 half cups, 1.5 cups of cool to room temp water, and 3 tablespoons of tapioca starch. Before we turn the heat on, we want to make sure that we've stirred this really well and we've got all the clumps off the bottom and it's nicely dispersed. Once you're sure you've got everything mixed in well, then you can turn on the heat on a medium-low and continue to stir it every now and then until you notice the starch starting to gel on the bottom of your pan. When you notice the gelling starting to happen, just keep stirring. It will slowly continue to thicken until your entire mixture is thick and translucent. At this point, you can turn off the heat, remove your pot from your stove, and we're going to divide it into bowls. However many bowls you want for colors. I was starting with 3 to do red, blue, and yellow. After you've divided up your mixture, we're going to add some color. So feel free to use liquid food coloring if you have it. We are using natural food powders for this. For yellow, we're using 1 teaspoon of organic turmeric. For red, we are using 1 teaspoon of organic beet powder. And for blue, we're using blue spirulina powder. One word of caution, I do notice that when using food powders instead of liquid food colorings, you do need to mix it a lot more to get it uniform. I also noticed that especially our red beet powder likes to make clumps. So mix them really well. At this point, I decided to grab 3 more bowls to make the secondary colors, orange, green, and purple from our base primary colors, just to see how they would turn out. So adding a little bit of blue and red to make purple, some blue and yellow to make green, and some yellow and red to make orange. Next, we need to spread each of these out into a thin layer and let them dry. So there's a couple ways you can do this. You can spread it on some plastic wrap, or you can spread it on a silicone sheet, a Silpat if you have those. Do not try doing it with parchment paper. These will not dry properly with parchment paper. So since we have silicone sheets, I went with those because my thought was I was going to pop them into our oven on a really low heat and see if we could dry them faster. And then we also ended up with quite a lot of blue. I didn't quite divide it evenly. So because we had so much blue, I decided to also try some spread out on some plastic wrap to see how that would dry. The ones on silicone, I popped into our oven on our lowest temperature. It's 180 F, just to speed the drying process. However, our fan blows really hard, and as it started to dry, it started firing little pieces of the glitter everywhere. So I turned it off and ended up just sticking it on our drying rack at the back of the bakery, along with the one that was spread on the plastic wrap. The next day, they were all nicely dried, peeling off of their plastic and silicone and easy to peel off, ready to be blended into little glitter pieces. So 1 color at a time, we peeled it off of the Silpat and put it into a bowl. Next was the blue that we had on the plastic wrap. So the final step is to blender it to your desired glitter size. So we're popping it in our little bullet blender. I actually really like how shiny and flaky this turned out, and you can blend it a little and leave it nice and coarse, or you can blend it a lot and have it a really fine glitter. It's up to you. So our glitter is ready. It looks pretty, it's shiny, it's flaky, but how does it taste? Because ultimately, if it doesn't taste good or the texture's bad or it goes slimy after it's set overnight, then it's really no good. So I piped some icing on a cupcake and a couple of streaks, and then he did the rest. And we covered it in our new glitter. Here he rolls the cupcake in the glitter too, because why not? That's the ultimate taste test. If that tastes good, then it definitely passes. And I love how vibrant the colors turned out. When we were done sprinkling, I remembered that we had a second set of glitter that we had to taste test. So I added some of that as well. To make that glitter, we had soaked some rice paper pieces in food colored water until they were soft, and then laid them out on a rack to dry overnight. It actually took 2 days to dry out, enough that they were crispy. And then, same as the other ones, we blended them up into little glitter pieces. So let's add some rice paper glitter to the icing as well. And then we're going to stick this in the fridge overnight. Let's clean up. So it's the moment of truth. I've got the rice paper icing over on the spatula on the right-hand side. And the cupcake was covered in the starch glitter. It looks like it's held up in the fridge overnight on the icing. It's still nice and dry and flaky, and I can't get over that color. So I really like that one. You can barely pick up on the texture. There was no taste. And next was the rice paper, which was a fail. It honestly was as if you were eating raw rice that had been chopped up. It was like this weird chewy texture, which kind of sucks because it was the easier method of the two, but maybe I did something wrong. If it's worked for you, let me know below. Otherwise, I'm going to stick to this tapioca starch method. It worked really well. It makes some really nice flaky glitter, high intensity color, and it held up overnight on the icings. I'm really quite excited these worked out.